Debt. You want a way out, but most companies only deal with certain kinds of debt or offer quick fixes and even dangerous solutions that can destroy your credit and put you right back where you started. At Family Credit Management, we'll give you a roadmap out of debt once and for all by consolidating all your unsecured debt from all your creditors in our debt management program. Get your free quote today.
Drinking warm water.
This is Tish Griffin, and I am here to you today with Family Credit Management, and we are really just talking about ways for you to effectively control your debt, get things under control, and be debt-free. So keep in mind, counselors are on standby at Family Credit. They are there to address any issues, problems, any problems you may be having. There are counselors there that can talk to you about your situation, about your problems, any questions that you may have regarding finances, debt, financial planning. I mean, you can just talk to a counselor and get the help that you need. Now, you can go online to the website at familycredit.org, or you can call 800-994-3328. Again, that's familycredit.org, or 800-994-3328. And we are at the start of another glorious year. We've made it through 2022. And so we've overcome so many challenges, so many changes that have taken place regarding credit, regarding our budgeting, the way that we see money, all of those things. And now we move into 2023. And we are looking for this to be a prosperous year for us. We're looking at debt-free living. We're looking to not get into excessive lending, and we are actually just looking to control the situation and make things better. We want to make the informed decision when it comes to our finances and be able to create a foundation and a platform for us to survive, right? Remember when we went through COVID, we did not have anything saved. We didn't know what was happening. We thought we would just be stuck in for what? A couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, but it turned into over a year. And with that being said, we stayed inside, we used up our savings, we used every type of outlet that we could think of to keep money in our households, to keep things going, to be able to provide food and shelter, those toiletries that we needed. So it was rough, and we don't want to go back down that road. The one thing that we do want to get into control is our debt. I want to talk about the changes that have taken place over the last year and some of those changes that are coming up this year too to help with our finances. But first, we want to make sure that we lay the proper foundation, and we're taking a look. And sometimes people say, well, this is the time for me to make my New Year's resolution, right? The New Year's just hit. We've got to think about what is it that we want to change or do differently from last year. You know, new year, new me. All of that is well and good, but I want you to think a little bit further. You shouldn't necessarily have to think about or strive for a resolution. What we need to do is look at lifestyle changes that will positively affect our income, our productivity, and our household budget. And so when we think about those things, we think about the way that we think about money and how we were brought up to value money. In my household, we didn't talk about money a lot. All we knew was that the bills were paid. We knew that my grandmother got money at a certain period each month. We knew that, the bills were paid as much as they could be, but we did not understand the value of money. And so when we think about money, a lot of times we have a negative attitude, a negative mindset towards money. And we want to make sure that we stay in control of our thoughts. We control our thoughts, our spending, all of that. So we want to start to see it in a positive light, not necessarily a negative or I don't have, I can't have, I can't do, I don't. It's more or less we need to change our mindset to how can I best use what I have to benefit me right now, and how can I make things better for my future? That's the mindset that we want to have. We don't want to have the mindset where our money controls us. We want to assert our control over money and do it in a way where our mindset is different, where we're at peace, we're okay with our financial decisions, and we know what we have coming up. First way to do that is start by thinking about your goals, right? Goals are the foundation of any budget or spending plan. And with this being the new year, this is the perfect time to go over your finances from last year, see what worked, and do something differently now. So you want to look at your maybe last 3 to 6 months worth of bills that you had coming in, your paycheck stubs, your income, and this gets intense, right? You're writing everything down, you're going through all of your records, and yes, it's an intense process, but it's one that will reap you benefits all year long as you continue to look through it. Now, if you have any problems with this, there are counselors that are waiting to help you through this, and they've got the perfect tools to help. Again, Family Credit's website, or call Family Credit at 800-994-3328 and ask for My Spending Plan. Now, this is what's called a budget. It's a guide to making your budget, to making things better. And with this, you can look it up on Family Credit's website as well. You're looking for My Spending Plan. This tool will help you. And the first place we're starting with is thinking about our goals. What is it that we want out of life? What is it that we need? What are those things that we're looking to do differently? So what are those things, especially with our goals, as far as savings goals, living, what are those things that we want? And think about it. A lot of times we'll say, well, I just want to be debt free. I just don't want to have the hassle. I don't want to worry about my bills. I want things to be okay. I want things to be on time. But the best goals that are out there that are more readily attained, the ones that you have the power to just charge through and do, are the ones that we define. So we want to start defining our goals. And they say that your goals should be, let's use the acronym, SMART goals. Our money goals, our financial goals should be SMART goals. We want to make sure that they are specific. We want to be able to talk about them in specifics and know not only I want to be debt free, I want to pay off $14,000 worth of debt. I want to be able to put away $6,000 out of the year. So we want those goals to be specific. We also want to be able to measure those goals. Yes, we need to say, I'm giving myself a year, 6 months, whatever my time frame is. I'll give myself 1 month to get things together, 2 months to put it into play. And then the rest of the time it should roll smoothly for the rest of the year. We want to make sure that we can measurable. Then we need those goals to be attainable. We've got to make sure that it's something that we can actually do. We want them to be realistic. Yes, we want to make sure we're not setting ourselves up, but we don't want to be too easy on ourselves to say, I want to pay my $30 credit card. No, we want to be able to make those goals count. Say, yes, I want to be out of debt. I want to pay off my $10,000 worth of debt. I will use however much, we'll figure that out though, however much you can to do it, and this is the time frame that I am going to do it in. Now, budgets change though, so you want to keep, as long as you're being realistic with your goals, you're looking at that time frame, and the last thing we want them to have, time relevance. Make sure we say we're giving ourselves 3 months. Now, if we're going to give ourselves 3 months to pay off $10,000, which is a little bit, it's a stretch, right? But you want to think about it. How am I going to get that? That's why we need them to be realistic and attainable, right? We want to make sure that this is something that you can actually do. So think about that. When you sit down, outline your goals. Then you want to think about, is this something that I can do right away? Is this just the beginning of my plan? Like, I can do this within the next 4 to 6 months. I can do this within the next year. But next year, for the next few years, this is what I want. I want my own home. I want to buy a car. I want to use cash to buy the car. I don't want to finance a car. Those are specific goals that you can possibly get to, that I know you can do if you just discipline yourself. Look at your budget. Think about your goals. Now, we've got all of this down. We're thinking about our goals. We got everything figured out. The next thing that we want to do when we're thinking about our goals is what? Look at our income. That's right. We want to look at our income, and we're starting at the beginning of the year. And I do want to point out, when you're looking at your income, go ahead and pull out those paycheck stubs. That's the best place to see what it is you're actually bringing home. We want to make our budget realistic So we want to base it on the actual money that we bring in, not what we think we're being paid, right? It's not about what you think you're being paid. It's about what actually comes into the bank. And you want to know what that amount is so that you don't overspend and you budget properly. So when you're thinking about that, you're looking at your paycheck stubs, there's some deductions that could be coming out of your paycheck that you aren't even aware of, that you don't even know what they're about. So another reason why you want to take a look at that paycheck stub. Also, you want to see what's going into the account. You want to look and make sure that you're getting paid the right hours, the right amount. Sometimes things happen and we don't even realize it. You know, the software could be off. Your employer could have made a mistake. So you do want to take a look at those paycheck stubs. Now, for this purpose, though, we're looking at the last 3 to 6 months worth of paycheck stubs so that we can get an average amount of what the bring home income actually is. This is the number that we want to make our goals based off of. Then you want to say, now I know what I get paid. I know what I bring in. We've got our income. We want to look at our expenses. But I do want to challenge you before you take a look at your expenses. Do a breakdown of that number. Whatever that number is. Let's say your bring home income comes out to be $2,000 a month. And you're thinking, man, that's no money. But you actually want to look at it and say, with this $2,000, how much should be allocated towards each type of expense? So think about this. If you bring in $2,000 a month, what does that say about your rent? How much should go towards your rent, your mortgage payments? What's a safe number to say? Not just, okay, $2,000 in rent, I pay $1,000. No, we need an actual number to say, okay, this is what a budget should look like. This is my cap. This is where I'm at. This is what I pay. So if you're thinking about that, when you think about your actual income and what your housing expense should be, it should be about 35% of whatever your income is. So if you're bringing in $2,000, of course, your rent or your mortgage should only be about $700 to $750, somewhere along there. Then you want to say, the next expense would be my car note. Okay, how much am I paying on that? That should be, again, another 20 to 30% of your actual income. So you want to look at that. Now, there's some guidelines on Family Credit's website, My Spending Plan. Also, you can find the same information in Personal Finance Made Easy, available at Family Credit's website for free. However many you want, you can contact the counselors. They will send them to you, or you can download it off of the website at familycredit.org. The number for a counselor, again, is 800-994-3328. So we're taking a look at our budget and our expenses when we're looking at last year to see what's a safe number for this year. And you may say, well, you know what? Tish, I got a raise. I'm getting a raise at the beginning of the year. And that is well and good. And think about it this way. Whatever amount that you've budgeted based off of your past budget and you're okay, your finances are okay, maybe a little tight, but you know you can make it, you can pay everything, you got everything set up. You can take that money, that extra money that you may be getting from your paycheck, or if you're getting a bonus, or as your income tax comes in, take that money and put it in a savings account. It's more important to save now more than ever. I mean, again, a few years ago, we used up all our savings. We want to be able to have a nest egg. We want to make sure we're planning for retirement, but also for our emergency savings now. So whatever extra money you do get, I do recommend that you put it into some type of savings vehicle, be it a regular savings account, an online savings account, money market, whatever you can do to make sure that that money is safe for you, okay? Need an emergency savings account. So we looked at our income, our expenses, we've talked about our savings, how we're going to allocate our expenses, and then we want you to make sure that when you put those numbers together, the goal is to put your income, your expenses, and have a big positive number at the end, right? A lot of times that doesn't happen. So then we want to go back through and look at our actual expenses, especially those that we've paid over the last few months of the year. See how much went towards each and every single bill. Look at your bills. See if there's any way you could possibly reduce them. And you may say, I'm fine. I'm comfortable paying what I'm paying right now. And that is perfect. That's all well and good. But if you could save even $5 more, that's $5 more that can be going into your savings. and that's $60 at the end of the year. So yes, it is very important. If you go through your bills, see if there's any way to cut your spending, cut out what you are paying for, services that you're paying for. Some people are using cable, but they're also streaming. So you've got some extra expenses. There may be things that are covered for free, some things you can contact the companies and see, hey, is there any way, are there any specials out, especially with the cable company? Do they have any specials that will lower your bill? The telephone companies, maybe a good time to look at that. And another thing that people don't even think about, your home insurance. If you own a home or you are a renter, it may be possible savings to look at the homeowner's insurance and see if there's any kind of way for them to reduce your payment. If you've had your mortgage for 15, 20 years or so, yes, it is possible that your payment, your homeowner's insurance payment can be reduced. And in some cases, we're seeing that people have had their homeowner's insurance payments reduced a lot. Savings of like thousands and thousands of dollars each and every single year because they were once paying. When you get your mortgage, you forget you're paying the same thing. But as you build up more and more equity, things change in the community, things change in your home, your coverage can also change too, and the amount that you're paying each and every single month can possibly even be lowered. So you do want to think about that, look into that as well. Looking at smart ways to save, looking at ways to cut our budget, things that we typically don't think about because we're doing it right now, the beginning of the year, so we're set, smooth sailing for the rest of the year. Next thing that you want to think about, when you're looking at those utility bills, again, see if there's anything that you're paying for that you do not know what it is. If you don't know what it is, it could be you signed up for something, you forgot about it. They could be charging you incorrectly, but it's always best to question that and see if there's any way that that bill can be reduced as well. Next thing you want to think about too, where are your spending leaks in your budget? We'll talk about that in a couple moments, but I did want to get into some of the credit changes that have taken place over the past year. A few things that are coming up. Of course, we know with the start of the new year, guess what? Tax season is rolling back around. That's right. The IRS will be able to accept those W-2s, those tax returns within the next few weeks, and they will start dispensing the refunds. Remember, you do need to file your taxes by April 18th. That's right, Tuesday, April 18th is our deadline this year. Want to make sure you have everything in. No matter what, if you're going to file, if you're going to wait, still file. I do recommend you file an extension request. If you put that in now because you don't know what will happen over the next few months, that may delay your actual filing. And you don't want to find yourself owing the IRS for something that they offer for free right up front, and it's just a form you fill out or a quick click of the button. You can visit irs.gov to get that tax extension form. You can also talk to your accountant, any tax preparer out there. So yes, there's information out there, people that can help you. And yes, you can file it really quickly online. Next, if you are struggling with IRS debt and you need some help, reach out to the Taxpayer Advocate's Office. That's right, Taxpayer Advocate. They are there to help you. If you don't know what happened last year, you're struggling, you need some help, they're there. They can see typically the information that the IRS can see as well. They can help you through. They can talk you through your situation, and they are there to help. So remember, reach out to the Taxpayer Advocate at 1-877-777-4778. And they're there to assist you all year long, actually. So even if you're struggling, you owe the IRS, you don't know how much you owe the IRS, yes, you can call them and they can help you through it, walk you through how to get out of, set up a payment plan, get out of default with them. It is so worth it, and they're there to assist you. So make sure you file that extension, especially if you know you're not going to file, but I would recommend, again, doing the extension anyway. Also, we've seen some big changes, especially, you guys heard of the buy now, pay later, right? Everybody's seeing Klarna, Afterpay, all of those other different apps, Shop Pay, little apps that'll say, hey, you can buy this now and break up your payment over a few months and then pay us back later, and you can get the item now. Guess what? Effective now, all 3 credit bureaus are reporting these accounts to your credit bureau report. That's right. Klarna, Amazon, ShopPay, whatever outlet that you're using to divide those payments, they now have access to the credit bureaus, which means if you default, it will drop your score. But what they're finding is a lot of people, when you have those accounts, you set up that that schedule to pay things off, you really wanted that item right now. So you went out, you did this, you set up this arrangement, you're paying every 2 weeks or every month or however you set it up. But most people are keeping those accounts in great standings, and they are improving your credit bureau report. So that's why they're there. Yes, they are there now. But remember, if you do default, it's going to show up. So you do want to make sure that you're doing something about it, staying on top of things. If you know you can't make the payment, a lot of them have the option for you to go in and extend your due date, change your due date just a little bit. Remember, when you're running behind with your regular creditors, with these accounts, with any creditors, with your utility bills, the best thing you can do for yourself is to stay in contact with that creditor. Let them know what's going on so that they can give you some assistance, and you can ask what assistance do they offer before it's too late. You don't want a charged off account. And that, for that reason, you want to make sure that you get in there, you get this done, you talk to them about it, see what options they have, because they're reporting now, they're watching you. Another thing, a positive that is happening, remember we talked about medical debt a few months ago. Medical debt now is not supposed to show up on your credit report if the balance is a certain amount. And effective January, guess what happens? Any medical debt with the balance under $500 is supposed to be removed from your credit report. So the credit bureaus are working to get that done. Maybe take a little bit of time, but you'll notice that the medical collection debts, even if they're there, they're going to matter less and less. And this is a real thing right now. There are certain credit score models that will not count medical debt at all, no matter how large or small that debt is, because they know that with medical, that's something different. And also, the hospitals, the doctor's offices, the physicians, the networks right now, they must wait at least a whole 6 to 12 months of no payments. So that means you have to not pay them for a full year before they can even put that account on your credit bureau report. And again, with this change, we've seen credit scores that have increased because guess what? Those medical accounts are falling off. They're not showing up. And once they're paid off, they're removed from your credit report anyway. You don't have to wait 7 years for that information to go off. How great is that? Now, so that's something that I want you to be aware of, especially if you're thinking about how am I going to improve my score? How am I going to make things better? I can't afford these medical bills. And also keep in mind, every medical network, every hospital, they do have charity assistance available. So reach out to the billing department. Request whatever information that they can offer, whatever they can give you. Usually it's an application that they can either send over, they can email you. Sometimes it's available online. And you can apply for charity assistance. With the charity assistance, you will either see that a portion of your medical bill has been waived. They may accept small payment arrangements, or a lot of times they may wipe the whole debt out. That's right. They'll forgive the balance of the debt, but you don't know what they're going to do until you ask. So it's always best to go ahead, ask what's going on, what can I do to make my medical debt less, to set up arrangements, because right now I know I have this debt, I know I have this bill, I just cannot afford to pay it. So keep that in mind, reach out to the hospitals, see what assistance is available. And again, a year no payments before it hits your credit report now. Keep an eye on your scores. We want to keep those scores nice and strong. And what we've noticed is that sometimes a lot of the credit bureaus now will allow landlords, or will allow you to actually report that on your credit bureau report too. The way for you to find out, reach out, keep an eye on your credit reports, reach out to a certified counselor. They can help you set up a budget, look and ask for the My Spending Plan. I want you to ask for that My Spending Plan. They will send it to you. You can pull it offline, or they will mail it to you for free, however many you want. You can get one for each one of your family members. And that's 800-994-3328 or online at familycredit.org. Remember, tax deadline, April 18th. We'll talk about that some more. We'll have some more tips on establishing your budget, on going through your finances. But yes, it's up to you, the way that you think about money, how you feel about money, and you can empower yourself to more effectively control your financial situation and become debt-free and live that way. Again, we'll see you next time.